I know a lot of you think that herbs are just little tender plants that grow very small. But I am standing here with Lovage, and I want to encourage all of you to get to know this plant, and if you have room, to grow it. It is so gorgeous. Just take a look at it. It can grow up to 10 feet tall. Lovage is known for having leaves that have very strong celery flavor. And what I love about this is in the wintertime, rather than just chopping up watery old celery into my soups and stews, I take the leaves of Lovage, and it really packs a powerful, rich flavor. It's fantastic. There's a lot of plant to deal with here, so let me just give you some pointers before we get some close-ups of it. First of all, it is the first herb in my garden to come booming through the snow in the springtime, and it's about up to my knees by mid-April. It's really a powerful plant and very strong. It's in full sun and it takes very little water. I never water this plant. It has a very substantial root on it. It would have to support all this plant above ground. So the best leaves to use fresh are the tender ones that grow very early in the spring, and at this time of year, which is the first week of June, the ones that grow on the inside of the plant have the best flavor for fresh. Once the plant looks like this, some of these leaves have been exposed to the sun for a pretty long time, and they have some bitterness to them. They don't have as good a flavor as you want. The leaves that are best to use fresh are ones like this inside the plant. And you can actually see that some of them have, they're tender, they're new, and they may have a little bit of sheen to them, a little shininess. The more matured leaves are dull in color. They don't have that bright green, fresh shininess to them. I make tomato soup, tomato vegetable soup, and put this in for fantastic flavor. Also, anything with lamb or beef, it really enhances their flavor too. And wonderful to use with fresh sage as well. So it has real strong flavor to it and fun to dry. Now, if you're going to dry it, I just cut a piece like this and I lay it in one of my big baskets to dry, or I can bundle some branches together and hang it upside down to dry. And then I strip off the leaves when they crunch like paper and they're completely dry, and I discard the stems. This plant has hollow stems, and often when people are having garden parties, if they're familiar with this plant, they'll cut these stems and use them as straws in tomato cocktails. So they're really fun, a conversation piece, and certainly a gorgeous plant to have around. I want to talk about these flower heads here that there's so many of right now. These flower heads will turn into seed heads, and the seeds, just like dill seeds or fennel seeds, will have very strong flavor to them. So I like to dry them and keep them dried in a jar, and I grind them up to use as a seasoning. Really great for a rub because they have such strong flavor that you would put on a roast or something. They're really beautiful. Now, you might wonder whether if these seeds fall to the ground, all those seeds are going to volunteer and you'll have tons of lovage plants. I haven't noticed that happens. Once in a while I get a volunteer in the garden, which I'd love to have, and I give it away to a friend or sell it at the farmer's market. But really I don't get a lot of that. So it's a substantial plant. It has great culinary value. It's related to some other plants that have a very strong medicinal value. The flavor's fantastic, and I'm glad it's so big because I just can't get enough of it. It's fantastic.